I've never considered myself an artist. I don't joke about this, but the truth is I just hit rock bottom in my life. I have no arts background. I just had like nothing to lose. And I think like part of that was getting to a point in my career where I'm like, this is taking a lot of my like energy in a way that impacted my mental health. And it just started with a story, and that story was called Me Against the Metronome. I got obsessed. And a lot of the work I did teaching in my community involved a lot of artwork. I was a writer, I'd say. I've always been writing, but yes. I've never written a play. I've never done theater or acted, and neither has anyone on my team. When we applied to Fringe, it was still very much a story, but we knew that we wanted that to move into a show. It was really life-changing to be in a city and hear it from that perspective. And there's a lot of stories there that need to be told. I couldn't be luckier, and I think a lot of that came from people just believing in the story. I put my heart and soul in it. Did I ever think that that was possible, to bring writing and tabla together the way that it came and the way that it fused? Never. One thing a lot of people don't know about our show is we almost didn't get in. There were probably 3 very distinct times where I sat my Robin and Tiff down and I said, I want out. So it almost didn't happen. One judge saw my play. That judge convinced the whole team that we needed to win.
Before we get into this interview, if you could subscribe, it would mean so much to our channel and really help us out. So hit the subscribe button, and I hope you enjoy the interview. Thank you for being on my podcast.
Thanks for having me, yeah.
Absolutely. So quick intro. Nawaaz?
Nawaaz. Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Nawaaz.
Nawaaz.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I don't want to fuck it up. Let me know.
That's good. That's good.
Alrighty, great. He's like, that's good enough. That's good enough,
yeah.
white girl. Alrighty, perfect. We met at Fringe. You had a Fringe show going on called Bull, Brown Boy, Bull. Am I saying that
That's
right?
It. Bull, Brown Boy, Bull.
Okay,
yeah.
Excellent. And I thought it was fabulous, and so we're going to talk about that a bunch, and then talk about just creating art and how did you get into creating art?
Is that the first question? Yeah. Cool.
He's like, that's a lot.
I didn't start creating art till maybe about 6 years ago, like really intentionally.
Okay.
I've never considered myself an artist.
You have a teaching background, right?
I have a teaching background.
Probably mention that as well.
Not in art. Yeah.
Not in art.
Yeah. So I've taught like science. I worked in my religious community for almost 10 years teaching philosophy, history, religious education, and most recently teaching French in elementary school.
Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's the fucking worst.
I have a family of teachers, so yeah, I don't.
It's really tough.
I grew up
Teaching
being like,
really
I absolutely don't want to be a teacher. Was
Yeah.
this homework?
You know, I always wanted to be a teacher. It's really, really hard. Public school in particular these days. But I have no arts background. I think I've just grown up in a family that like always encouraged being around arts or exposed to music a lot, as you may have seen in the play.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine taught me how to do Turkish water marbling. And that kind of I got obsessed. And a lot of the work I did teaching in my community involved a lot of artwork. So a lot of expression and a lot of, especially at like camps and stuff that I would run, there was a lot of artwork involved, a lot of expression, contrary to what a lot of people think about Muslims and Muslim communities, but they're some that really, love the expression.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And so it's your Fringe show. What inspired you to create that show?
I don't joke about this, but the truth is I just hit rock bottom in my life.
No way.
Yeah, I like hit total rock bottom.
That's how the best things happen. Right?
It's how the best things happen. And I literally was in a place where I just had like nothing to lose. And I think like part of that was getting to a point in my career where I'm like, this is taking a lot of my like energy in a way that impacted my mental health. So I took some time off work for a while. I was writing a lot, and I went back into writing classes, like formal writing classes. I take them with Dacha Bloomfield, and she runs a group called Rigmarole.
Okay.
So anyone can join, any kind of writer, and I usually write poetry when I'm writing in her groups. And I did like a 6-month stint with her before, and the first prompt on the first day was this word metronome. And I started writing the story about my relationship with the tabla. And that's been bouncing around in my head for probably 2 or 3 years, just wanting to share it somehow.
Yeah.
And it just started with a story, and that story was called Me Against the Metronome.
Oh, no way.
So like in the story, I was like writing tick, tock, tock, talk, and then I was writing the tabla bowl, like the verses I would play.
Yeah.
And when I shared the story, especially with the class, I was playing the tabla. So the tabla was always like part of the story.
Nice.
And someone said, this would be a cool show.
Yeah.
and I just...
That person was right.
Yeah. So I don't know, that kind of planted the seed. And I shared the story with Robin and her roommate Tiff, who is my director producer.
Yep.
And I was like, hey, do you want to help me do this? And they were like from the moment go, they were in.
That's amazing.
So we made it into Fringe, and then we like applying the Fringe. We just made the cutoff. This was in like December.
Did you have it already written when you pitched to Fringe, or was it just still an idea form?
So two things that people don't know is Fringe don't care about the idea. You don't actually have to pitch the play to them. So they don't actually ask any details about the play, which is really interesting. So, and I think one of the other things that people don't know about Fringe is that whatever you present can be in any stage of the process. You just have to,
I didn't know that at all.
That. Yeah. So if yours is experimental or yours is a trial run, you just have to include that in the program. When we applied to Fringe, it was still very much a story, but we knew that we wanted that to move into a show.
Yeah.
And then we got in like January, I think. And that's when, again, everything that Tiff did. So like if I was doing this on my own, I would have no production. It would just be me sitting at the table fucking talking, right, for an hour.
Yeah.
Tiff had all the creative insight and she brought a team of like 7 people together.
Amazing.
Yeah, like every little detail she thought through, and it just, it wouldn't have been the same, you know? So.
And for those who don't know what a tabla is.
Tabla, yeah.
Yeah. What is a tabla?
It's like a North Indian percussion instrument. You play with your hands, you sit on the ground usually, and there's 2 distinct drums, the tabla and the baya. There's different names for it depending on which part of India you're from.
Oh, okay.
And it's just like a very spiritual, beautiful instrument. Like if you've heard it, you'll know the sound. And it's part of the classical Indian music tradition. So I grew up around that sound, around Indian classical music. My sister's a Kathak dancer, so Indian classical dance. She didn't quit like I did. So I quit when I was really young. And if you really want to find out more, come see the show next time I do it. Because the show is my life. It's literally 95% my life.
Yeah. No, it was a great storytelling and show. And the venue, we got to talk about the venue as well. Because you're the only show that won with a venue that was in a typical theater. Yeah,
so there's 2 streams. This year, there's 2 streams in Fringe. There's the lottery, the general lottery that not everyone can get into.
Right.
And the chances are quite slim, but then they provide you with the theater, the techs, and all the things that the other stream doesn't get. So unconventional venue, you choose your venue.
Yeah.
You have to be successful with it, but then you have to make sure you do the contract independently with the venue. You have to hire your own techs if you hire them, or feed them or beg them to come and do it for free, which is what we did.
Yeah.
So, and this venue, again, huge shout out to Blackhurst Cultural Center and the staff, because I just walked past it by accident.
No way.
Well, not by accident. One day I went in and I spoke to Misha, our contact there, and the rest was really easy. It was super easy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's divine.
I believe that. It was just divine. It was meant to be. And they reflected the values that our team had and the production had. So everything was really aligned the whole way through. And I would say divine.
Amazing.
Yeah. Really.
That's amazing. Because it was a super intimate. If you know the place, you'll know it's a smaller, like a bookstore, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was perfectly intimate and nice and close, and you had no choice but to be cozy and be there.
Yeah, and one thing, again, just to talk about the values. So Blackhurst Cultural Center is a Black community center that's been in Toronto for decades. And a lot of the members of that community have seen the streets of Toronto change. And when you talk to them, I had the privilege of doing a workshop with the Shakers group, and it was really life-changing to be in a city and hear it from that perspective. And there's a lot of stories there that need to be told, but again, it's just proof of the values aligning. And so a different book list is hosted within BCC, and then we did it in their community living room. So all of that space is used for book talks, community gatherings, lots of artist development, and engaging a lot of high school kids around there from, I think, Central Tech. Yeah, so really special space. Amazing to check out. Yeah.
We'll definitely have the link below for anybody who wants to check it out as well. Yeah. You can look at that, Gabrielle.
Yes.
I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so, writing the story and creating it with your team, I just want to know about the experience of, because you're not a creative person before, and so just what you had to learn along the way of bringing this to life.
So I was a writer, I'd say. I've always been writing, but I've never written a play. I've never done theater or acted, and neither has anyone on my team. So all of the creative bits and pieces were coming from non-theater backgrounds. So I think two things that really pushed it into that kind of performance was so Tiff assembling the creative team. She hosted 3 rehearsals, and each rehearsal she tailored who she brought. So the first rehearsal in March, she invited writers. And they critiqued the storytelling. Then the second one, she brought like actors and theater people to help with like, okay, now where does production go? And then the whole time there were people that she'd brought that eventually became part of the team. So like Magali Lafleur, she came to Lafleur, I should say it properly. She came to the second rehearsal, for example, and then also was doing the props and set.
Oh, okay.
So everything just came together, and then there was, you know, I can shout out everyone. We got a sound designer, lighting tech, sound tech, just like everything you can imagine. So that really pushed it along. And then the second thing was like doing research. So we went to go see different plays. And I would say, you know, the two that really blew me away, Shaniqua and Abstraction, and then Huff just blew me away by Cliff Cardinal. It was a solo show, and it showed me like all the things I was avoiding doing. I was really avoiding dialogue. I didn't want to do dialogue as an actor. Yeah, I was avoiding it up until I saw Huff. Anytime I had to do 2 characters for me, I literally wanted to be behind the screen or like anything. And then I saw Huff, and it was such a masterpiece in like multiple dialogues, really hard storytelling, like really difficult subjects, but it was also hilarious and touching and emotional. And so that pushed me to kind of get a lot more vulnerable, but then also do the dialogue. And we hired an acting coach. So that really pushed it into from a story to a performance.
Amazing.
To theater, yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I love that.
I can just ramble, yeah.
That's what this podcast is for, is rambling.
And then the other, I would say like what we were really lucky, because it was all just a community venture. So everyone that came together, there were probably 70 people that in some way were involved. So it's proof that you can produce like excellence in community.
Yes.
Which is, you know, I'm all about community. I've been doing the community development my whole life. Yeah,
100%. So. Even like, for creators, I often hear from people who have done more than me. They'll be like, oh, just, you know, you have a project, just start it. Yeah. Everything will fall into place. And you're like, that sounds really easy to say, but another thing, like, how am I going to get locations? How am I going to get this? And all these things. But you're living evidence that it's true. Like, things just come together and it happens.
I couldn't be luckier. And I think a lot of that came from people just believing in the story.
Yes.
Like the story was really powerful. Again, I had nothing to lose. I put my heart and soul in it. I don't know how many drafts I must have written, like probably over 30.
Yeah.
Every new play that I saw, I would rewrite. Every new thing I would see, it would just give me a whole other perspective, you know?
That's amazing. Yeah. That's incredible. Good for you.
Thank you.
Damn.
Thank you.
That's, 30 drafts.
It was a lot.
I can't even get down to one.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it just kept transforming up to a certain point, and then it was like, okay, this feels right.
That's so cool. That's so neat. And tell me about the swearing in your show.
Oh, the swearing. Yeah. Originally, the story had a lot of swearing, just because like it's in my voice and I do swear.
Yeah.
As it developed more into a play, I realized that this was something that I really wanted children to see, especially my friends who had kids.
Okay.
Or my, you know, like my nephews and nieces. And it didn't feel authentic to swear. And there were some parts of it where like I started like taking maybe like one swear word out of this scene and then the next, and I'm like, you know what? It just feels better without the swearing. Like I'm not worrying about it, and it's very like everyone knows I swear. And so like I think that's their main concern. So like it was easier for me to tell like my friends and family, come see it, bring the kids, there's no swearing.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 people brought their kids. There were maybe 4 kids that I saw throughout the run.
Okay.
And I think that was just because, you know, whatever, logistics and evening shows, but
true.
I feel like this is something, it's easy to take into schools it's easy to like, you know, take in, especially like, I think teenagers is the right age group, but yeah, it was really hard not to swear, but
That's so funny.
Yeah, I took out all the swearing.
That's good call though, because you're right. Like it is very like it's a story as well as informational at the same. Like it's teaching, and it combines the two, teaching and creativity. Really, So it is good to. I think you should do like school tours and whatnot.
I'd love to. Yeah, just you know, we'll see. There's so many things we can do.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, do you have plans with what you want to do with it now, or?
We're again consulting with people to see what some options are. So I've been talking a lot to people like at Ontario and Canada Grants, Council of the Arts about grants to see if we can maybe fund going into communities or just fund having more shows either in the GTA or across Canada. So there are grants for that, and they're really happy to talk to you. So there's that.
They're really good to talk to you. They're less hesitant about money giving.
It's funny. Well, you know, they'll do anything they can to help you with your application and make it a strong application, which I didn't know that.
I didn't know they did that either. I just learned that not too long ago. Yeah, you can call them and be like.
You can call them, So, and I went to a workshop where like they had, you know, 4 people from 3 different grants levels, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. You can ask them anything. You could set up a one-on-one, get their contact info. It was great.
That's amazing.
So that's one option. The second option I think is it'd be really cool to preview this with theaters or float it by theaters to see if it gets picked up. And so you have to create like a package, which is something we're working towards. So, you know, either a trailer, video clips, reviews, like I was talking to you about reviews, or anything that kind of helps get the theater a sense. And then maybe that's one avenue, which would be really cool. You know.
Oh, I gotta ask too. I do have like video clips of the end of you playing it. Can I play it at the end of this podcast?
Yeah, of course, sure. Yeah.
Stay tuned to the end to watch.
yeah, absolutely. And we have a bunch of clips too on our Instagram, and if you need some, let me know. So.
Alrighty, will do. Awesome. Because I think it's so cool. It's such a cool show. I really like the idea. I love the story, your story, because those are the best ones. The real story. Like you didn't have to pull too much out of the sky.
No,
because you can just tell your own truth.
Some of my friends have said that trauma is the best material. So everyone's, and like some comedians, there's a British comedian, I can't remember his name, but he just like quit his job as a math teacher and just started talking about his trauma as a comedian, and he's like, he's everywhere now.
And now he's
So,
fine.
and there's a lot of material.
That's amazing. So if you have trauma,
it's true.
Turn it into material.
It's a good way to heal. It's a good way to express yourself.
Definitely, yeah.
Why not, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So do you have other works in the mix as well? Do you want to continue writing on this creative journey, or?
I'm writing but in terms of the play, I think would be nice is to like develop the play and like keep building on that.
Yes.
And then I also have like writing projects that are always on the go. So I just submitted like, I'm always looking for like mentorship or to like, I'd like to get published.
Right.
So I've submitted some manuscripts to like for short stories, for children's books.
Nice.
So those are 2 things. I didn't really slow down in the summer after the show.
No?
I just kept writing, and so like now I'm also supply teaching. That's my main source of income. So I have to find the balance between working and then creating. Yeah, and which is an annoying reality.
Oh my God.
It's a very annoying reality. Yeah, but it'd be cool to, move towards sustainably creating art.
Yes.
And I think there's a lot of grants out there. There's, it's taking more risks. So I do visual, I do writing, and then the writing and the tabla coming together was really special. So I'm trying to bring some of these together a bit more. Yeah.
Wicked. And do you think there's a benefit to being so fresh and not knowing much about the industry, that you have a benefit? Yeah,
we didn't know anything about theater, and the ignorance is bliss just really was perfect for us.
I love that.
Because we didn't know what should be done or what could be done, and I think that would have impeded us a lot.
Yes.
So now the more we talk to people, we're noticing that we do have to actually learn a certain lingo around theater. We do have to now it's really good to know more about theater and like learn from people.
Right, right.
So we met like people like you. We met a lot of people throughout the run, from Fringe, from Orangeville, some reviewers that they're really happy to chat and like give us feedback and give us some ideas and just help us learn about theater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I'm a total theater noob.
I love it. That's awesome. I usually have people on that have been in it for a while. I love this fresh set of eyes.
And I think we got really lucky.
I think you had a really good story.
Thank you.
I think the story is important. If people don't believe in the story.
Yeah, the story is important, and I think like you use the word divine. I think everything just came together divinely, and like there's one word that I use in the show. It's a tabla. It's a classical Indian word, but it's nikas, and it's clarity of sound. And I think throughout the production of the show, when we're creating it, the one thing that we were always aiming for was excellence, or just like to hit that note of like clarity. And I think that just we're so lucky that we hit that, and then we got the recognition from not even just winning the award, but from people, like the dialogues after, the chance to talk to people in community, and then to win an award was even like the cherry on top.
Yeah, what awards did you win? Let's talk about the awards.
Just the one, which was like the huge. It's called the Best of Fringe.
Yeah, I was gonna say Best of Fringe.
Best of Fringe. So Theatre Orangeville they come down with like 7 or 8 people as judges. And they see this year 52, I think, out of 77 plays checked the box to be eligible. So those judges saw all of those plays. One judge saw my play only.
No way.
And that judge convinced the whole team that we needed to win.
Oh my gosh, I got chills.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And you know, I've seen some of the shows. I saw like maybe 2 or 3 excellent shows that I thought were like fantastic. So to be considered like alongside them and to still be able to win the award, I thought was just a huge privilege.
That's amazing.
Yeah, mind-blowing.
I love that. And for people who are thinking about being creative too, like this is just like extra incentive. Like you never know.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know. Yeah.
That's amazing.
when you hit rock bottom, yeah. I mean, just it's not just about that, but I think a lot of creatives that I talk to get to this point where they're like, I got nothing left, you know, except to just put everything out there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
100%. The authenticity.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. That's wicked. So you're writing some more, but so for the package for the theater, you said what involves the package for the theater? Is it reviews?
That's a good question. So we're still. I'm waiting to get some information from some people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's a few people that have said they can help us put a package together.
Okay. Nice.
I think from what I gathered, and I'm waiting to get like a list from someone, but it's any kind of clips. So we had a professional recording, so we have to take the whole recording and turn it into a trailer. Maybe a 2-minute trailer. Any kind of press on it. Right. So, or anything that was in conversation. So if we can even say that we spoke to the director of Fringe and they said this about the play, like we can use that as towards the package.
Oh, okay.
So it's anything you can put in writing or in print or something in media.
Nice. Okay.
And I'm sure there's a bit more to it. Yeah, probably like synopses and things like that.
Excellent. Yeah, I've never heard of packages.
It's all new. Yeah, it's neither have I. Until people are like, "Oh, do you have a package?" And I was like, tell me more.
I have an idea.
Can you be a bit more specific? How about that? And then,
Qua?
Yeah. So, other than the awkwardness of that question.
That's hilarious. So, with your writing and with your now new creative journey, what's your goal with it? What would you like to accomplish?
I think there's like a few different goals. So I think the first would just be to get more traction in the GTA. I think it's a story that resonates with so many people, and the feedback that we got from the crowds after, it was just really special, and it made me feel like this is something that we need more of in this city for collective healing, to help people feel like their stories are shared. It's my story, but it's everyone's. I think everyone could resonate with being bullied with sometimes racism, Islamophobia, or just systemic, being in a system that hates you, or doesn't care for you. I think that would be really, really nice to just be able to like get it settled. I've been watching some stuff on Hamilton lately.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Hamilton. Amazing play. and big part of my inspiration. But like when I see like something with a huge cast, what would be really cool if I had a lot of funding would be to develop this play to just take it to a bigger scale.
Ooh.
So I think it'd be amazing to have like a live band, a choir, dancers.
Nice.
And I think that would give it just a whole different dimension. And even being able to share those people's voices into the story, I think that would be really, really cool.
That would be so cool.
And because that's what I've grown up around, right? Like the music, the choirs, the dance, like
yeah.
And so to me, that would really kind of take it to a whole different level. It would bring a lot more people together and make it stronger, I think. So one thing at a time.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And who are your biggest influences as far as the creative world that you're in?
Oh, there's a lot. I would, I think like one of the biggest, especially from the music side, is my guru, Chiranjit Mukherjee. I think having, again, like you would have seen it in the play, but having someone that you have like a spiritual relationship to, that is like nurturing you to become better in every way.
Yeah.
It's really, really unique. So there's something about the relationship that's always evolving, it's always growing. And I think that like it gives me the possibility that I can do a lot more than I realize with music. So a year ago, did I ever think, so let me just give you the timeline. So November 2023 is when I started writing the story.
Okay.
It took 9 months to get it ready for Fringe, right? It was like a baby. A year ago, so it's October right now, October 2024, did I ever think that was possible, to bring writing and tabla together the way that it came and the way that it fused? Never.
Really?
Never, not once.
Wow.
And then I think the more that I just trusted the process, I talked to my Guruji a lot about it. He supported me so much throughout. And he would even say things to me. I told him I want to do a tabla solo at the end of the performance. And he wasn't ever like, oh, you can't do that. He was like, of course, yeah. And so when we first started doing it, it was too long. Like the solo was becoming a 20-minute solo, which I never thought was possible. I've never done a tabla solo in my life.
Oh, no way.
And then I did 8 in a row,
Wow.
like 8 shows in a row, 10 minutes for the solo. I never thought that would be possible.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, how long did it take you to master your skills? Because I think that was an interesting fact as well.
I mean, there's no mastering at all. I'm a tabla baby.
Yeah.
I've only been learning, part-time for about 7 years. So I've been under the tutelage of my guru for about 7 years. May 2017 is when we met and it started.
That's a long time still, though.
It's a long time, and you get what you put into it. So if you practice regularly, if you enjoy it, you get what you put into it. And like I'm really grateful to have an amazing guru, like a teacher. He's a brilliant musician. So that's one of the biggest inspirations for me.
Yeah.
Because I never thought it'd be possible.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that. From not even possible to done.
Yeah.
You did the thing.
Absolutely.
That's
like
incredible.
And everyone around me just was so supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So,
your family liked it?
My family loved it. Yeah, there was a lot of dialogue with my family that were able to attend. My parents came to 3 shows. They were at the first show, front and center.
Amazing.
I do have to ignore family members when they come though, because I just takes my focus away. Yeah.
I'm the same. Like I can't look at you right
I thought
now.
my mom was crying throughout the whole show.
Oh, no way.
And then when I talked to her about it later, I'm like, oh, you seemed really emotional. She's like, oh no, my eyes were leaking. And I was like, cool. Like I got it.
Crying.
Thank you. Yeah. She's like, I have an eye leaking problem. And I was like, okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Hilarious. Like, oh no, not at all. They were just watery. Like, oh, thank you.
No, but they loved it. They were super supportive.
That's awesome.
I think, especially Indian families and parents like it when you win awards. So there was a lot of like, like thank God it was like he knows what he's doing, which I didn't know.
Which you didn't know.
I mean, I had an uncle up to a month before the show started tell me to my face, you can't make money playing tabla. Or that's a hobby that someone told me last week. So it's good to also just remind people? Yeah, I mean it's cultural, like it's important to me to remind especially young people out there that are from the Indian diaspora or like who are BIPOC, and my family and people in my community that you can be successful. It really depends on what your mark for success is. I don't care about making money at this point in my life. Like, I will scrap by, I will supply teach myself to death if I need to.
Yeah.
But I want to create. So I want to put myself in positions to be creative in a way that aligns with my values, that aligns with where I'm at. Bowl was perfect for that.
Yeah.
The play was perfect for that. Even, you know, the things that I can apply to every writing mentorship under the sun, but to me it's applying to the ones that feel right. So even if there's not a lot of those, so for example, I don't know if you know Vivek or you've heard of Vivek Shreya.
I haven't.
She's a huge figure in the Canadian like music writing scene. So she's got a TV show. She writes music. She's written so many books. I'm Afraid of Men, particularly really good. So she's got a partnership, or I think she started Arsenal Press, and there was an open call for submissions, and everything about that aligned. So that was the one that I put all my energy into. I submitted a short story manuscript, and it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And there was another one the same weekend, and I could have done it. I could have applied, but it didn't ring that bell as much for me. So I think it's also about discerning, you know, what feels right.
Yeah.
I'm in the space where I can kind of do that because I've got like the job that I don't want, but you know, yeah.
For sure. That's amazing. It takes sometimes takes a long time to get to that point.
It takes a long time. I've given I mean, yeah, people don't understand the scale of time. So I've given myself 2 years to get into a field where I'm creating a lot more regularly.
Okay.
Because a lot of it was being done in my spare time after like a work day.
Right.
And that's fine, but it's also really hard because all your energy goes into work primarily. Especially when you're supervising kids, like that takes a lot of energy.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So with working part-time and finding that balance, how are you navigating that right now? Is it easy for you to find that balance, or is it a struggle?
So maybe before I answer that, and maybe ask me that again if I go on a whole tangent.
100%.
But even when you told me the name of your podcast, like I had this hesitation because you know, like that inner voice.
Oh, I'm not creative full time either.
Well, that's the thing. So, and I think I told you that too, and I was like, I'm so embarrassed. I'm not like doing this full time.
Oh no,
and I want
100%.
to be,
it's
right?
just the goal.
It's the goal, right? And it's yeah, and I think like for me, I've had to like look at my life and just set it up. Well, like rearrange it. I had to do a lot of rearranging to set it up in a way that gives me a bit more flexibility. I'm extremely, extremely grateful that I can do that, right? So, you know, the supply teaching is great. I can call in, choose the days. I have like the flexibility to take a day off here and there when I want. Yeah. But it also is going to be like paying the bills, realistically.
Yeah.
So going from that, again, to me, it's like in increments. So I think a big part of what I'm giving myself 2 years to, you know, maybe get to like 50-50, like 50% working as a teacher and 50% producing artwork. And I think what I'm learning more, and I'm giving myself some time to learn this in the next year especially, is that there's like a cycle for creating and developing art. And a big part of that is usually grants or, you know, like keeping tabs on like the seasons. So in Toronto, summer season is theater season, right? Yeah. Maybe everywhere else in the world, right? Like from spring into summer, like that's when it's like the hottest, and like that's the application cycles start in the fall.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of grants are due in the fall that will take 5 or 6 months to actually be reviewed and come back to you whether you got it or not. So like learning the cycles, how long does it take to apply to a grant? Okay, then you're applying. What are you going to do in between? The other thing I'd like to also start doing is creating more visual art and trying to sell that, right?
Nice.
So setting up a studio or finding a studio space, getting the time to dedicate in studio like regularly. So it's trying to find consistency, trying to find like time and space to get into the flow, and then seeing where there's traction. And then maybe deciding like where's there traction, where's there not. So with Bowl, for example, I'm going to put a lot more energy into developing that because it's already got recognition.
Yeah, and the wheels are turning.
Yeah, wheels are turning, and like I'm not in a rush, but I don't want to lose momentum, but I'm also not, you know, my team was exhausted at the end of summer. You know, we did
it's a lot.
And you know, we did 8 plays at Fringe, which took, you know, 4 people on the floor minimum, maybe 5 or 6 for setup, but 4 people on the floor, 1 for AV, 1 for lighting, 1 for slides, so 3, including myself acting, you know. And then we had another play that we did with Theatre Orangeville as the award winners of Best of Fringe, and the amount of energy it takes to do 1 play is the same as 8. So once we did that, which went really, really well, although for a much bigger crowd, we all took a big collective deep breath and said, okay, let's just pause. We got asked to do a couple more shows in certain community venues.
Oh, amazing.
And well, the thing is discernment. And we said that this doesn't feel like the right project right now. So we had to say no, and that's okay, right? So it's learning where the yes is, learning where the no is. And I think to me, it's just like, okay, we're going to pause till 2025 and let's work on it until then. So
amazing.
Some of the advice, sorry, did you have a question?
No. Continue.
Some of the advice, and I ask everyone for advice. Some of the advice I got was get some directors or writers to take a look at your script.
Okay.
So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow up with 3 or 4 people, get some feedback, see what could come out of it. And then again, apply to grants, put the package together. So it takes time.
Yeah, especially for grants. Like, you're right. Like, when your idea is conceived and then you're applying for grants and you don't hear back for months, that means it's just chilling. For like,
so you have to do something
6 months to a year
while you're waiting, right? Or you have to plan it. Like, there's some artists. There's someone on Instagram from Toronto that I love watching them, watching the work on Instagram. Artist Victoria Day is her Instagram handle. She will show like her schedule, like how she plans her year.
Nice.
I remember I saw that once, either in a story or in her account, and it was like, that's what I got to start doing. Like, I got to like start blocking the chunks, and then the reality is, I don't know what kind of creative you are. What kind of creative are you?
All of them. No,
All
I'm
of
just
them?
kidding. I'm an actor, podcaster.
Right. So especially, I know actors know this. Once you submit a tape somewhere or you apply somewhere, you just got to forget about it.
Yeah.
And that's, a lot of people don't realize that. And like, you got to, that little bit of hope, just bring it back in and put it into other projects, because you got to forget about it, right? That's how I treat applications. Like, I forget about them.
Good. That's
and
something
most of them haven't come back. So which is fine. But I have the material to apply to something else.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's something that most people don't know. If you haven't been a part of the creative world and now you're jumping into it, it's not like with applications to jobs and that kind of thing. You hear back like, no, we're going a different way, or sorry, you didn't get a job, or yes, thank you, or you're going to get an interview. With this, it's just into the void and
into the void. But if you do get rejection emails, which I've just learned, follow up with them and ask them what you could do to improve. So that's something I need to do up to 6 months back. I need to go back to like 2 or 3 rejections I got for visual art, and I need to be like, please help me for the next round. And a lot of the times they're happy to do that, but people don't know that you can do that.
Amazing.
Like I didn't know that.
And it's something that I would think that it's weird to ask almost, or like, can I ask that? But it's amazing. I mean, you've put on a whole show and have now going through this whole grant process just by asking questions. Like, it's the value of asking people questions is underrated.
And they're so happy to talk to you if you're sincere about it. So like, I followed up with like a couple of Fringe people. They were happy to talk, like the director and someone that was our main point of contact, happy to talk to us. Hopefully, you know, and same people at Theatre Orangeville, happy to talk to us. Grants people, happy to talk to us. So listening, taking notes, and then just like, you know, putting your plan into action. That's it takes time though, and energy.
100%.
As I'm sure you know.
100%.
As an actor, I'm sure you know.
100%.
So more than many.
And as a producer of a project, it's from like acting, you can go on, do your job, kind of come home, but in production, it lives with you.
Like, it really does.
You're married to it.
So.
And especially when it's your own story. It's
living, breathing
woven.
It for months. Night and day.
That's amazing. But the power of just asking. Good for you. A lot of people don't like to ask, feel uncomfortable asking, won't ask, don't think to ask. And I think it's so important to ask. And one question I heard that was very helpful to ask when you get rejection letters is, or even if you do work with someone, say you work with someone and then they have like the same event happening next year or something, and you want to be involved again, is saying, how can I make sure that we collaborate again next year? What do you need from me?
Exactly.
And I was like,
yeah.
Such an easy question, but yeah, absolutely. Be like, okay, well, we need you to do this, 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 and then absolutely we'd love to have you back.
And it's getting specific, right?
Yeah, 100%. It takes the guesswork out of it.
Exactly. and I think like part of that, like something about what you're saying is just reminding me about like relationship building. I think relationship building and like sincerity just goes such a long way.
Yes.
So one thing a lot of people don't know about our show is we almost didn't get in.
No
so
way.
Yeah, so when we applied with we had 2 venues that we actually applied with.
Okay.
The first one got rejected.
Oh.
And one thing that is really cool about Fringe is that they're really their accessibility is top of mind.
Okay.
So they want every space to be extremely accessible.
Oh, so the first one got rejected.
The first one got rejected because of accessibility.
Oh, okay.
Which was fine.
Didn't know, but good to know.
And that first location again really aligned with our values, right? But unfortunately, the accessibility didn't work out. And then they sensed my enthusiasm over email and maybe one phone call. We'd never met. I maybe mentioned in the email, like, we're really, my team and I we're really excited about this opportunity. That's all it took, and they actually extended the deadline for us. I don't know if I should be telling you that. Maybe that needs to get cut out. But I think just being like really honest and upfront, they really caught onto our enthusiasm, and they could see how fired up we were, and they gave us an extension, and then again that divine moment where I walked past BCC, and the rest is history. So it almost didn't happen.
That's amazing.
But we didn't give up, and then they kind of really felt that, our enthusiasm, and I've been thanking them profusely for giving us the chance. So
yeah, especially because it's on a technicality. It's not that they didn't like your story,
exactly.
or they didn't believe in your vision,
and they didn't have any
anything.
clue of the story at this point.
Oh,
Fringe,
really?
Yeah. So Fringe,
it's just
they don't
check
your story. They don't check your story. They don't check your content. All you have to do is let them know what's in your content. So like swearing, for example, I took it out. But when you're choosing the level, like whether it's PG or explicit, you have to put all the things that are going to be in your play. So whether it's, strobe lights for people who might have epilepsy, swearing, mature content, language. So we just had to not check that box, and our rating came to a lower level, like PG, for example. Yeah. So there was never a discussion about the content or like the play itself, which was, they're very hands off on that. What they want to do is they onboard you into their ecosystem, and they give you tons of information on how to produce a play, almost too much. So they really scaffold you, they guide you, they have tons of webinars. You can schedule calls with they have disability consultants. So we were trying to make ours as disability friendly as possible in terms of our content. We had slides with the subtitles with certain scenes where I'm speaking a different language. I think most of our performances, we could have checked off relaxed performance, but there was like one small thing we couldn't provide, like a space, like a private, quiet room. But they were pretty relaxed.
Yeah, when I was looking at I didn't even know what relaxed performance was. I just assumed that it was like, okay, they take the strobe lights out or something like that.
And it's really catering to people with different needs, neurodivergent folks, people with different abilities, or who interact differently in space and maybe need to make noise during a performance, right?
Right.
So everyone kind of knows that that's the kind of space that we're agreeing to, the actors, the performers, and the audience, and it was fine.
Common understanding.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's nice. I like that they do that. Because I saw that and I was like, I didn't know what.
Really, one thing that I will say, Toronto Fringe, one of the best events I've seen in terms of organization.
Amazing.
The people, the volunteers, fantastic.
Yeah, so many volunteers.
So many great volunteers.
Yeah, incredible.
So.
Is there any advice that you got where you're like, thank you, no?
Oh, thank you, no?
Yeah, not from Fringe, but like
Fringe?
not from Fringe, or it could be, just don't tell us. But any advice that you got that you're like, oh, okay, that's advice.
Nothing that stands out, but I think, like when I was telling people, oh, I wrote a play and I'm performing it at the Fringe, there's always like some people that they don't know if it's going to be crap or not. and so I had friends tell me to my face, because I invited some friends to either a rehearsal or a tech to come and give any feedback.
Right.
Or some friends of mine came to the actual show during Fringe. And this is a big compliment, and I try not to let this get to my head, but a lot of friends have said to me, like, sometimes you go and see your friends' stuff and it's garbage.
Yes.
And
yes.
so it was a really, like, they were like, it was actually really good. And I think
we're so relieved that was good.
Yeah, and I think, like, my friends actually told me that to my face, and I think with certain family members or like people that were in my life in the past year that saw me hit this like mental health rock bottom, were like, so you hit rock bottom and now you're performing something. Are you okay? Or like, especially coming from like Indian like, or like Muslim communities, like have you just lost it? And there were probably 3 very distinct times where I sat my Robin and Tiff down and I said, I want out.
Really?
I want to do this. Yeah. The first, I think we had like 1 rehearsal, and like there's the rehearsals where we rent space out and invite people, and there's just like our rehearsals that we do like in a living room.
Yeah.
And I did a rewrite after maybe seeing Huff, and the first rehearsal that I did just was so hard. I was not off script. I was reading off the script. It was just, nothing felt like aligned. And I said, what am I doing? No, I can't be doing this. Like, there's no fucking way I'm doing this. They had to talk me back. Yeah, basically, because I was like, what am I doing? I'm out of my fucking mind. What am I, like, I'm performing my life.
Your logical brain
and it didn't
just kicked right in.
Yeah, something kicked in, and I was just like, I don't want to. And there's moments like that where you don't believe in yourself, or you just, I don't know. So, and I think there was people that looked at me in this really precarious position in life, producing something and taking a huge risk. Like, I poured thousands of dollars into it for my savings. It was literally just like, swinging for the fences. I didn't really realize I was doing that because everything just felt really aligned. It felt right.
Yeah.
But when I stepped back from it, and I was like, holy crap, that could have been a huge miss, right? And a lot of people at Fringe don't even make up 50% of their ticket sales. That's a reality.
Yeah.
You know, luckily we didn't have that problem, and we had a small venue, and the most important thing to us was never ticket sales. It was producing an excellent story. And I was just so lucky to have people around me to do that.
That's
so
amazing.
The people you keep around you make a huge difference.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, help keep the
don't keep shitty
moving.
People around, or cut the people out that are talking shit, right? And for a lot of people that look like me, sometimes that's family members, and sometimes that's finding really hard boundaries.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but like, not everyone's parents are supportive. In fact, some people have to hide it.
Yeah.
100%.
I actually learned cutting people off, to me, because at first when people are like, oh, you need to cut off people, I was thinking, okay, I'm never going to talk to you again. Like, we've broken up, and I'll move cities and never see you again, kind of thing. But it's just kind of fading it out, or not hanging out as much, or just not allowing, or knowing that this person's gonna say that, and I'm just gonna build this imaginary wall that you say that, but
and it can be temporary. It can be temporary too.
Yeah.
Or just like, don't talk to me until this date, and then come to the show and let's talk after.
Yeah, that's
like,
true. I have people I don't tell projects to for that reason.
Don't distract me, or like, I didn't tell anyone about this because I was nervous. Like, my partner knows.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I'm really nervous about this. I've never done this kind of interview, and I was like, I'm going to post the crap out of it after, but like, just what if I was having a bad hair day, or, who knows?
Right? Yeah. Or you just don't know what to say, you just freeze.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, I like interviewing. Being interviewed, I get really nervous.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, I have nothing to say or offer. Or what do you
just freeze?
Yeah. I'm like, I can speak English sometimes.
Hard pause all the time.
That's right.
Every 5 minutes.
We take that back. We actually just edit that out. They're like, it's live. That's why I don't do this live.
Fair.
But yeah, no, I think I'm glad that you agreed to come. But yeah, I agree. I don't tell people about certain things until it's already done. I don't need your naysaying shit.
That's true. So I have a question for you. So you've interviewed a lot of people who are trying to get creative. How many people have you interviewed?
I posted my 40th episode today.
Oh, congrats.
Thank you.
That's huge.
Thank you.
Okay.
And I probably have about 5 to 10 in our back pocket.
Wow.
Five.
Amazing.
So about 45, 46.
46. So, I mean, one thing I'm always curious about is like, what are you noticing? What are the trends you're noticing with artists? What are some things that people are doing to make it? Or like, what's advice that you would give?
I think the internal journey has been really fascinating to me. And you've come to it really quickly of cutting people off and setting boundaries and it feeling aligned and just going with it when it feels right. I think a lot of people, it takes a long time in their creative journey to get to the place where they're comfortable with themselves.
Yeah.
And identify as something more than just a creative. And then I'm finding also a lot of just authenticity. And so I have this new phrase that authenticity will get you wherever you want to go.
Yeah.
And I'm finding a lot of people being like, they used to be with auditions, let's say, oh, please like me, please like me, please like me. And now it's switched to, this is what I have. Take it or leave it. This is who I am. And so like that confidence and knowing of oneself has been really fascinating and really encouraging to watch. Like I love having people discover this because I've been through it myself too. So I really like when other people have been like, you know what, fuck it. This is what I got. This is who I am.
It sounds like that internal alignment is really like there.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So definitely that. What was your question? Did I even answer it?
Oh, just maybe trends you're noticing or advice or
trends and advice. For me personally, is just ask.
Yeah.
And you're killing it on that front too. Is I think a lot of people, it's so easy to just ask people and they're like, send them a DM on Instagram or whatever and ask a quick question. And
sometimes people will answer, sometimes people won't. Or
worst case scenario, they don't answer.
They don't answer. And like most of the time, people will answer more often than not.
Yeah,
I've noticed,
so it's been amazing just what you find out from just asking.
Yeah.
And having the courage to ask is a big thing for me right now too, and also asking for help.
Yeah,
I don't like it, but I
don't like it either.
Better.
I don't like being vulnerable. Like, oh, can you do me this favor?
Right.
Oh.
I'd rather do it all myself.
Yeah, I'm the same.
And you can't as a creative.
I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, it's not
you
recommended.
Really can't. Yeah.
So kudos to your partner and the whole
and we did not
team.
break up, believe it or not. And people, it's true. You want to test a relationship, fucking produce
create
a play with a partner.
Together.
But no, but there
that
were
would
moments.
Generate arguments.
It would. And there were moments where we had to have, some tough conversations about how we operate doing this and also being in partnership. But like, choosing to be around good people and like, I think you attract what you put out. And like, I'm so proud of, I can't stop saying amazing things about my team. And you'll notice it was mostly all female team around me. And I'm so blessed. And like, the more you are vulnerable with each other, like they're seeing this side of me, but everyone shared their own vulnerability and we would celebrate it. So we had people that are queer, that are neurodivergent on our team. And we really tried to cater to them. So one member of our team, every time she would come to rehearsal, I would ask her like, did you eat today? And it was no. So we started packing meals for them. We just want everyone to be supported, and we're trying to just be there for each other.
Yeah.
And I think everyone had my back in a way that, I don't know, just, you don't feel deserving of it sometimes. There was so much love. I'm gonna cry. There was so much like love and backing behind me, and like, I couldn't have done it without that. There's no way.
Yeah. 100%.
So,
Yeah. You deserve it.
Thank
know
you.
that you deserve
So
it.
do you.
Thank you. I've been working on that
We all
too.
do, right?
Yeah,
we
yeah.
all need to let ourselves
100%.
be loved.
Yeah.
You know?
And you don't have to earn it in any way.
Just for being you.
exist. Yeah, you exist, therefore.
Just for being, and like, you know, you posted something, I don't know, maybe this past week about don't wait until you're at your perfect weight. As someone that's struggled with body image and weight issues, like seeing that and putting that out there, it's hard to do, but people need to hear it because, you know, this past year, I did a lot of healing. I didn't lose a lot of weight. You know, I got aligned internally.
Yeah.
But like that didn't, I still went into the show feeling like really energized, and I was meditating and doing yoga every day.
Yeah.
And that helped a lot. I wouldn't have been able to do it without that. Did I do it after the show? Fuck no. Like I would have liked to, but you know, I just crashed.
Yeah.
But feeling like good about myself wasn't always just like with what's coming up on the scale.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I've specifically not stepped on a scale for a while because I've been like, okay, I feel great. I feel good. I like what I see. I like who I am. I don't want that to be ruined by a number, which is like, it's so stupid that you step on the scale, see a number and go, oh God, I'm shit.
Yeah.
And you're like, you loved yourself 5 seconds ago without that information.
Like does your
ridiculous.
Does your day need to be ruined because of a number?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And it's like, it didn't change anything in you or on you.
Yeah.
You liked yourself looking at yourself, and you liked yourself the way you feel.
Yeah.
And the number didn't change anything about that.
Yeah.
It's definitely, it's a struggle.
No, but thank you for like putting that out there, and like that initiates a lot of conversations. It tells a lot of people they're okay. And similarly to how you said people are going into auditions being like, this is what you're getting.
Yeah.
It's being happy with yourself, you know?
Yeah.
No matter what. So.
Yeah, 100%. I'm loving everybody finding themselves and being totally aligned and comfortable with themselves.
But you need to let people in, it sounds like.
Yeah, well, for help.
Yeah,
for helping out with stuff. And
no, I didn't mean to point at you, but yeah, you should do it.
Yeah.
It's quite like...
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I'm getting better. And I mean, and if you don't get better, you backed into a corner where you have no choice, right? You hit that rock bottom in a different way, and you're like, oh,
exactly.
Well, now I have to ask for help.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's definitely a work in progress, but yeah, it's all part of the journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Well, thank you so much for being on my podcast.
Are we done
today.
Oh, wow. That's an hour?
That was like an hour.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
58 minutes just
That's amazing.
now. Isn't that incredible?
Thanks for having me.
Yo, it flies like this.
Yeah.
And you had a good time? It was all
I had a
right?
great time. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, this was so
you
easy.
should come on my podcast because it's a good time.
Yeah. No, this was so easy. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. I'm so honored to do one of your first interviews like this.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
Yay. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you learned something from this interview. And again, if you liked it, hit like, comment below your favorite part, and be sure to subscribe. It helps us out so much. And if you'd like to donate to help keep this podcast going, you can head to my website, AlisonMullings.com. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next interview.